Hello everybody, it's Doughboy, and I want to go ahead and get out of the way that this video is going to be talking about rape and sexual assault. If you can't handle those topics, this is not the video to watch for you. I'm mainly going to be discussing how rape in media is almost entirely unnecessary every time it's used, and why media uses it in the first place and why that's disrespectful. It's just my personal opinion that I think most rape and sexual assault scenes are completely unnecessary, and I already know that by posting this video, I'm going to have a lot of people in my comment section saying either that I'm a massive snowflake, or that yes, it is necessary in some media portrayal. Now, I understand the counter-argument to this because I do agree in some way that sometimes sexual assault and rape in a story can be used to progress the story in a meaningful way and give light on the situation to the audiences watching. But a lot of the times when it's not used in a meaningful way. A great example of this, I think, is Dandan, which is a popular piece of media that at the very first episode used a rape scene as comedy. Now, I know this is going to get me called a massive snowflake, and people on the internet are going to go, but Doughboy, it was for comedy, it's not that serious, she didn't actually get fully raped, I don't care, it's not funny anyways, and putting light on such a serious situation is absolutely disgusting in any form. I don't care if she didn't get fully raped or not, the fact that it's even in there in the first place is honestly pretty gross, and I cannot fathom that nobody has been calling it out, because why would you ever need to include a rape scene in something that's supposed to be funny? I have no idea why you would even try to do that. If they really wanted these two characters connect in that way, they could have always implied it instead of showing an explicitly detailed scene of it. I understand where they were coming from with the comedy, but the fact that they had to make an explicitly detailed scene of it is just incredibly uncomfortable for me. And this leads into my next topic, how horror media likes to use rape and sexual assault just to get a shock value out of the audience that quite frankly never works, or when it does work, they never expand upon it, and it's only used for the fact that it's grotesque in nature. Now, some horror media does use it correctly, and they actually try to expand upon it in a meaningful way that doesn't make it feel like they're using it purely for shock factor. However, way too much horror media tries to use it just for the fact that it's a grotesque action. Countless pieces of media I've watched over the years, and I have watched a lot of horror, I'm a big horror junkie, has used rape or sexual assault just to get a reaction out of the audience because in nature, it's a really vile thing. However, I do think there's a certain level of disrespect by using such horrible things in such a light way. This is an argument that I've made before, and I'm going to make it again because I think it's true. When you use rape and sexual assault so frequently in media so directly with no direct consequences, that just dehumanizes the people experiencing it, and on top of that, that desensitizes anyone watching it to it in the future. And on top of that, by desensitizing people to such a blatant problem, especially in the United States, where I know a lot of this occurs in horror media, then the problem itself in real life becomes less of a big issue, which shouldn't happen at all. And also, there are plenty of examples in old school media, example, Dracula, where rape and sexual assault are implied to have occurred and they actually have a meaning in the plot. However, modern media doesn't feel like doing that in a lot of scenarios, and it just weakens the plot overall, and on top of that, now you have an issue that is very serious that they don't handle correctly, and it just makes the whole thing feel gross. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of spaces and fandoms I've been in for certain movies or media where sexual assault and rape does occur, but however, because people don't think of it as a serious thing and rather just a plot device to keep it moving, it never really goes anywhere. There have been plenty of people who call me a snowflake for not liking something that happened revolving around those issues, and saying it doesn't really need to progress simply because it was something that happened to progress the plot. And if that is the only reason you add sexual assault or rape to your story, you're a bad writer and personally shouldn't write anymore. You can't just make that a plot device when so many people have it occur to them on a daily basis. That's a very serious topic, and unless you're going to explore it and the consequences of that action, then you don't need to add it to your story. There are plenty of other scenarios that you could add to your story that can be just as shocking without needing to use a real-life scenario that is quite frankly very traumatizing for a lot of people. And unfortunately, this isn't only a problem in Western media. This occurs in a lot of Eastern media, and I mean a lot. I've been called racist for saying this, but it's not. It's just a fact. A lot of anime and manga like to portray sexual assault and rape, and then they just do it for pure shock factor and literally nothing else. I think one of the reasons why rape and sexual assault is so direct in media nowadays is because our generation unfortunately lacks a serious amount of media literacy, and I think certain companies understand that, so they try to make it more direct so we understand what's happening instead of just making it implicit. But by doing that, they can't back up the writing skills it requires to fully develop and understand that idea in a piece of media. Also, another point I want to bring up is rape and sexual assault in media are common because a lot of people sexualize it really heavily. I know for some people that sounds like a bold claim to make, but it's just factually true. A lot of people think it's really sexy when women, for example, get assaulted or raped on TV. It's a sick fantasy for a lot of people watching, and it's shockingly more common than you think it is. That's one of the big reasons why in Eastern culture, manga has a lot of it in there, because it's purely for sexualization. That's pretty much the end of my video. The only reason why I wanted to make this is because 1, I've thought about this topic before, and 2, me and my friend were talking about it last night. I'm aware that this is about to be a very hit or miss YouTube video for my channel, but I still wanted to discuss it because quite frankly, I take it upon myself to talk about things I like and talk about things that I feel like are important, even if that means they aren't the most popular opinions on the internet. Thank you for watching my video, and if you'd like to help support my channel, feel free to subscribe and like this video. Also, comment what you'd like me to talk about next. I'm very much so happy to talk about things that need awareness. And also, we're almost at 2K subs! Wahoo! I've only had this YouTube channel for 5 months, and I think it's really exciting that people are watching my content. As always, I can't wait to see you in the next video, whether that is 2 days from now or 5 months from now. Thank you so much for watching.